or tails? Over or under? Seahawks, Patriots. Don't stress. SportsGrid breaks it all down.
They are locks.
We can capitalize.
We're going to see a ton of over money.
Props, expert guests, and smart insight leading up to the big game.
Oh my God, if Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl.
Only on SportsGrid.
Stack enough wins to avoid a brutal matchup path, and when Giannis gets back full burst, they got to get him back on the floor and back on the floor healthy. The Bucs season won't be defined by the game Giannis misses. It'll be defined whether Milwaukee protects him from himself and gets him back in April if he's still a part of the team.
Pro basketball today. Only on SportsGrid.
David Tyree.
Oh, wow.
The 2008 Giants win against the New England Patriots and the Tyree catch of the Plaxico Burress game-winning touchdown. That was the only other time in Super Bowl history where the betting public won money.
Wow.
How about that?
Wow.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
It's a Thursday on the SportsGrid Network. It's time to rise and grind right here for the early line. One step closer to Super Bowl Sunday and Super Bowl 60 between the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots, live from Santa Clara, California. As we start to wind down the week, we'll ramp up the intensity and give you another preview of that monster game. And also, did the people out there know, Joe Ranieri, that we do have the NBA trade deadline today? 3 p.m. Eastern. A lot of trades have already gone down, a lot of head-scratching moves, but also some of the bigger participants like Giannis Antetokounmpo. Will he be traded or won't he be traded by 3 o'clock today? A 2-hour show for the people, as we like to say. It's your boy DRS and Joe Ranieri. We're ready to go.
Yeah, listen, Donnie, I mean, it could still be one final chaotic story in the NBA at the trade deadline here, but we'll have to wait and see if Giannis has, in fact, played his last game in a Bucs uniform.
3 p.m. is that deadline today. Now, it is a Thursday. Tomorrow's a football Friday, and away we go into the weekend. But we need, Joe, the hottest topic of the day on a Thursday. Serve it up.
Well, Donnie, let's go to college basketball, where we had some great games last night, including a nail-biter with Alabama and Texas A&M. That, of course, came on the heels of us learning that Alabama and their lawyers are officially trolling the rest of college basketball now. So a couple of weeks ago, Donnie, I told you about Charles Bediako, right? This was the former Alabama player who went pro, played in the G League for 3 years, and, well, then sued his way back onto the team a week and a half ago. Remember, there was a temporary restraining order that let him play. Well, that restraining order was supposed to expire tomorrow, Donnie. We were supposed to get a final ruling tomorrow on Friday. But because this is the NCAA in 2026, the lawyers, well, they've entered the room, Donnie. And yesterday, Bediako's team filed a motion to postpone the hearing until mid-February. And why? Well, because they have now discovery questions that need to be answered. So they're listing a bunch of international players and saying, hey, these guys are eligible. They get to play. Why can't Charles? You got to be kidding me. There is zero gray area here, Donnie. None of those other international players that they listed in Discovery played for Alabama or any other college team already, declared for the NBA draft, played professional basketball for 3 years, and then decided to come back because, his alma mater needed him. Stop it. There is a specific NCAA bylaw that prevents this. You cannot give up your eligibility, go pro, and then hit the undo button 3 years later just because the G League didn't work out. But we all know what this is. This isn't about fairness. This is about a delay tactic, Donnie. They want to kick the can down the road so he can play against, well, I don't know, how about Auburn again this Saturday? They want to drag this thing out until March Madness so the clock runs out on the NCAA. And the saddest part, it's barely working. Yes, Alabama won last night, but Alabama is now just 2-2 since they added their ringer to the lineup. They're fighting tooth and nail in court to keep a guy eligible for a team that, if there are any basketball gods here, Donnie, should be headed straight for the NIT. The courts need to shut this down. The NCAA needs to wake up. But until then, welcome to the new world of college sports, where the game isn't decided on the hardwood. Donnie, it's decided in a Tuscaloosa County courthouse. So let's hope common sense makes a comeback, Donnie. But you know me, I wouldn't bet on that.
You know what? You're right, too. And let's go one state over to Ole Miss, where in the middle of the night, a judge said, hey, Trinidad Chambliss, you got to go pro. You've been around too long in the NCAA. So what did Chambliss and Ole Miss and his lawyers do? That's all right. We got shut down there. We're going to move to another court to see if we can delay this even further. It is amazing where the courts are trying to tell you this isn't going to work, but for some reason you could just go court to court to court, state to state to state, and then go, oh, I just played my final year. We'll drop the case now. It's no big deal. Sorry about that. I'm going to head to the pros with a lot of NIL money in my pocket. It doesn't make sense, but that's the new landscape of college athletics. Get paid now, worry about it later, and then how much is later, and can they actually hold you accountable for that? Nope, they can't do it here. That's just the way it is. Let's get to the early lineup here, which includes, Joe, special announcement on the SportsGrid Network. Bare Knuckles Fighting Championship Knuckle Mania 6, live Saturday, 7 p.m., right here on the SportsGrid Network from the city of brotherly love. Bare knuckle fighting in Philadelphia. And no, it's not out on the streets. It's legal. It's in the arena. And it's time to shine, Joe. I can't think of a better way to spend your Saturday night than with us.
Donnie, you know, we've carried this in the past year on SportsGrid, and it was one of my favorite things on In-Game Live to do, because we would have segments where we would go live to those fights while they were happening, and they might have been some of the most entertaining fights that I have seen in a very long time, because it's not what you think it is, but when you see it live, it's like, oh my goodness, that left hook just absolutely took that guy's head off. I mean, a lot of fun. So if you have not caught it, you have to absolutely watch this on Saturday. It is a whole lot of fun. Better than UFC fights that we have seen in recent times.
Saturday night, get down to the business right here on the grid. It's how we do it, and certainly you will love the action that's going to be in, I don't know, is it the ring, the octagon? But you'll be here and you'll be watching at 7 p.m. Hottest topics, which include Anthony Davis, traded to the Wizards. Now, does that mean he gets traded to the Wizards so he has to sit out the rest of the season so they can tank and then maybe try to win next year and hopefully everybody is healthy? The Wizards making some interesting moves this season and at the deadline.
Well, and Dallas is finally, they started to recoup some of those draft picks that they had to give up originally here with the Doncic trade, which is kind of absurd. But, yeah, it's obviously reset time for the Dallas Mavericks here. And what, for the second straight season, Donnie, we're getting Anthony Davis wearing a new uniform. If he even wears the uniform, let's face it, he's hurt. I know that comes as a shock to a lot of people. But it feels like Washington has become a dumping ground for overpriced and overpaid NBA players these days.
Seems like it is. And also, how about the carcass of Chris Paul has been dug up out of the grave and included in a trade that sends him to Toronto? Didn't even know the guy wanted to play anymore, if he was even in the NBA, but apparently he's included in this trade. The NBA sending Chris Paul up to the 6.
Well, it's hilarious because the Raptors told him, yeah, listen, I know we got you in a trade, but you don't have to report to the team. Like, you're good. Like, there's no need for you to actually have to come here because you won't be here very long.
when your sport has to include players for salary compensation, when the team wants absolutely nothing to do with those players, trash for trash is actually crazy. Should just be trash for steam, which is what the NBA provides sometimes at the trade deadline here. Drake May, he's practicing. He's ready for Super Bowl 60, whipping that arm around saying, I'm just fine for this Sunday's action, Joe.
Listen, there was never a question on whether or not I think either Sam Darnold or Drake May were going to be ready for this game. Yes, neither guy is 100%, but not one player on that field, Donnie, is going to be 100% at this point in the season. So all in all, should be no excuses at the quarterback position.
How about those New York Jets? One final payday for Frank Reich. He'll get a year, and then he gets to go off into the sunset because that entire organization is going to fire that entire coaching staff here. But Reich goes to the Jets.
It's not fair, Donnie, that you give me the Jets, Frank Reich, and then you're going to give me Hackett in the next story. You just hate me, don't you? You just want me to bust out in hives and start having to go down that rabbit hole again. Yeah, no, I won't do it. But kudos, Jets, I think. Who's your quarterback again? Oh, that's right. You don't have one.
How come Nathaniel Hackett also didn't travel anywhere where Aaron Rodgers might want to be, like the Pittsburgh Steelers? But he heads out to the desert. And also, Panarin finds a home from New York out to L.A. How about that?
Good trade for the Kings, who are going to make he's got a little left in the tank, so don't sleep on it here with the Kings, that's for sure.
And by the way, Denny Hamlin is planning to compete in 2026 NASCAR. I think he was competing when I was in like diapers back in the late 70s and early 1980s. How old is this guy, 90?
Listen, if he can still drive, 43 years old, God bless.
43?
Keep going, Danny.
Well, he's like 83 at this point. We'll be right back. Fun's just beginning right here on the grid.
Saturday, February 7th, Conor McGregor will be in the building for Knuckle Mania 6. In the main event, heavyweights collide as champ Ben Rothwell defends against Andrei Arlovski. In the co-main event, we find out who's the #1 pound-for-pound bare-knuckle fighter in the world. It's Lorenzo the Juggernaut Hunt versus Dave Redneck Mundell. Plus, a heated rematch ignites as Tony Loco Soto runs it back with Ben the Bomber Bonner. And the women bring pure intensity as Jade Massam Wong faces Crystal the Rugged Beauty Pittman. For how to watch live, go to bkfc.com for more info.
Aaron Peterson right now is -300 to be the top pick in the NBA draft. And anybody that saw the game on Saturday, you saw his vicious dunk, and you saw his explosiveness, and he hung 18 points up on the board in the first half, right? What did he do in the second half? Ask Bill Self. Why did he come out of the game? What did Bill Self say? I don't know. Ask him. This is where we're at right now.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Heads or tails? Over or under? Seahawks, Patriots. Don't stress. SportsGrid breaks it all down.
They are locks. We can capitalize.
We're going to see a ton of over money.
Props, expert guests, and smart insight leading up to the big game.
Oh my God, if Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl.
Only on SportsGrid.
Spreadlines on Super Bowl week. That's right, people. Sunday, 6:30 p.m., the biggest event in the sports landscape happens. It's Super Bowl 60. It's going to be between Seattle, yes, we know that, and the New England Patriots, of course. Seattle is the road team. The home team is New England. And yes, the opening lines were 4.5 as a favorite towards Seattle. And Today on a Thursday, February 5th, they're still sitting at 4.5. The only line movement that we basically had was a 46.5 at the opening number in the total, down to a 45.5. And you guessed it, on Thursday, we're still sitting at 45.5. Only days away from Super Bowl Sunday. Joe Ranieri, what is your spread line on a Thursday for the big game?
Well, talked to the guys in the risk rooms again yesterday, Donnie, and they started to see, at least out west, a little bit last night, the volume start to pick up of bets. But today, beginning today and tomorrow and Saturday, if this spread is going to move, Donnie, it is likely going to be over the next 24 to 48 hours here. But in some of these rooms, Donnie, I am hearing that you're talking a 5 to 6 to 1 to count with these tickets being on Seattle. It's not a ton of sharp money just yet, but the public, I mean, 5 or 6 to 1, Donnie, is just hammering Seattle with the spread here. And yet we're still kind of hovering around that 5 mark, 4.5, 5. But there are still a lot of influential bettors sitting on the sideline, but now might be the time, and you're running out of time. If you like an over in this game, 45 consensus will be the lowest this number gets. It's only they're expecting to go up from here.
Let's head up to Maine. Let's dig deep in college basketball. Vermont taking on Maine at Maine, favored by a touchdown at -7.5 and a total of 129.5. You take a look at the Catamounts, the number one defense in conference play, going up against the Bears. What's going to happen here? Vermont and Maine, Joe. What's that spread line?
Yeah, the Black Bears of Maine are playing anything like it, Donnie. They're 5-18 overall. They're 3-5 in America East play. It has not been a good season for Maine, to say the least. Now, Vermont, however, which is always kind of the class of this conference, they're finally getting healthier. And that's important here because they always have some absolute snipers on the outside, but they've been hurt this year. And now they've gotten them back here. And yes, they are more than capable of dropping threes from all over the place here. I'm kind of shocked this line was as low as it was, if we're being honest here, Donnie. 7.5 overnight. I am seeing 6.5s here. And I don't get it. Outside of the fact that we watched these teams play a couple of weeks ago, and Vermont did not have its full starting roster, it was a, shall we say, watching paint dry, 67-62, 13 of 42 combined from three between these two teams. I don't think that's going to happen here now that Vermont is healthy. I think Vermont wins this game, and I think the total is too low at 129.5, Donnie. I think we're going to get way more points in this one.
By the way, Maine, according to Ken Palm, 349th in the nation here. Not a good rating system there. Let's flip it over to the Big Ten. Penn State's going to take on Michigan by traveling to Michigan as 24.5-point underdogs. The favorite, Michigan, expected to win easy tonight in a total of 163.5. Penn State, there's 18 teams in the Big Ten. I always like to say that. They're 18th overall in efficiency on defense, effective field goal percentage, the worst defenders from the three-point line, and the worst defenders inside the arc as well. Penn State, where have you gone? 24.5-point underdogs here. What's that spread line for you, Joe?
Yeah, poor Penn State. Just been going through it this year. It has not been great, Mika Shrewsbury, at all. But Michigan coming off a pretty good week, right? I mean, last week I think they beat two top 10 teams. They beat Nebraska. Then they beat Michigan State in Michigan State here. Now they obviously have to kind of ratchet it down a little bit. You got to be careful with this, that you don't play down to the level of competition. I thought we'd have woke up here this morning, Donnie, and we would have seen this number begin to climb because it does have blowout written all over it. But it was 25.5 last night, 24.5 now. So, this is Penn State's national championship game, if you will, Donnie. The ability, and we just watched it with Portland and Gonzaga last night. Portland ends up upending the Zags. Could Penn State upend number 2? No, they're not going to. But they might very well keep it within the 24.5, 25.5 points here tonight.
Look at that. 3 touchdowns and a field goal here. Keep it within there, Penn State, and get that cover. We'll find out. Let's flip it over to the association tonight. The Chicago Bulls and the Toronto Raptors. How about a 9.5 line overnight at some outlets now, dipping down to 8.5s and 8s, depending on where you're shopping at now. A total of 225.5. Bulls, Raptors spread line for you tonight, Joe.
Yeah, what a game last night, though, with the Timberwolves and the Raptors. Oh, my goodness. Toronto at home, and they had them and then got outscored 34-22 in the fourth and lost 128-126. But now they get a much more feasible Bulls team on the second of a back-to-back here. And the Bulls made all sorts of trades yesterday as well with Vucevic and Kobe White moving on. So not sure what you're going to get from the Bulls here. But I do think the Raptors, who stayed pretty much intact here, Donnie, I think this is going to be a much easier time than Minnesota last night. I think the Raptors get it done, but I also think points are coming in this one, looking like an over to me.
Golden State figured that Porzingis is the missing piece to the puzzle for a championship run. I don't know if he's going to be in the lineup tonight, but they're headed to Phoenix as an underdog of 6.5 points, and a total listed at 217.5. Warriors, Suns tonight. From the Valley.
Crazy. And the Warriors, by the way, still in the mix here for Giannis from what we're hearing. But the Suns, you know, they're pretty much intact, Donnie, right? They weren't shedding contracts or anything else. And they're getting unbelievable shooting once again from Colin Gillespie here, coming off a monster game against Portland. Now they go home. Still waiting to hear if we can get Booker back at any time soon for the Phoenix Suns. But they have been very, very good. And with the Warriors, yes, Steph Curry will be there. But I'm not sure what else you're getting from the Golden State Warriors here tonight. It feels like we could be getting an over with a low total here.
8 games tonight. Starts with the Brooklyn Nets and the Orlando Magic at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then the nightcap, the Philadelphia 76ers and the Los Angeles Lakers. By the way, the Sixers went from L.A. to Golden State, back to L.A. here. Come on, man. What kind of scheduling is that, people? We'll be right back. More Hot Topics to conclude Super Bowl Sunday.
February 7th, Xfinity Mobile Arena.
This is the most entertaining fighting in fighting, man.
Fight fans of Philly! Knucklemania 6 in Philly.
Can USA overtake Canada and get that gold, Joe?
Absolutely, they can here. And ultimately, it feels like that is the 2-horse race. And I think ultimately, Canadians don't really care if their team competes in the luge or the bobsled, Donnie, or anything else. They just want that gold when it comes to ice hockey. And that is the only thing that's going to matter there.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. Heads or tails? Over or under? Seahawks, Patriots. Don't stress. SportsGrid breaks it all down.
They are locks. We can capitalize.
We're going to see a ton of over money.
Props, expert guests, and smart insight leading up to the big game.
Oh, my God, if Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl.
Only on SportsGrid.
But I will say at 4.5 and over, I've been with covers for 20 plus years now, I've been betting for a long time. When it comes to 4 and 4.5 point spreads, if I'm looking at the favorite, I do not lay the points. I go straight to the money line, knowing that it's minus 200. This has been a no man's land for football betting in the NFL, basically since 2015, since they moved the point after touchdown back.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Well, it's
Let's get after it here. Super Bowl 60 on Sunday, 6:30 p.m. And I got to tell you, a little bit lackluster on the commercials so far, Joe Ranieri, as you're seeing some of these already on your TV screen that will be displayed on Sunday. Some of these $10 million ads, and away we go. But the game will kick off at 6:30. The pomp, the circumstance, the pageantry, all going to take place in Santa Clara at Levi's Stadium. We started the show off talking once again, Joe, on those spread lines. The 4.5s, they haven't moved yet here. New England is the underdog. Seattle is the favorite in a total that sits at 45.5. Now, Joe, earlier in the week, we had 70% or so ticket count across multiple books that showed us that Seattle certainly being the heavy favorite. Went to 68% and now 66% in the market for ticket count on Seattle. So that is starting to come down. So I ask you this question again. Come Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, are we more likely to see the 4.5s or the 5s or back to 4s, Joe, on Sunday?
At that point, Donnie, it doesn't matter. I mean, 5 is not a key number.
Yeah.
It's a dead number. No game is going to land 5. 4.5 is it's in the same ballpark. So you're not really at this particular point dealing with, can we get an extra? Can we wait for a half a point one way or the other? Because it's not really going to make a difference. If you like Seattle, lay it with Seattle. If you like New England, take the points. It's that simple here. But the reality of the situation is you're going to have a half a point back and forth, Donnie. You're going to see, right now you're seeing more 4.5s than you are 5s in the market. The 5s are still there. Yeah. And I think you'll begin to see more 5s pop up. Then it'll come back down. So I think what you're seeing is what you're getting. The biggest move from the opening to now, this opening number, the biggest slight has been the total. The total has gotten more movement and more sharp money than anything else right now, because don't forget, this was 46.5. 45 is a key number in NFL totals. It was 46.5, and now we're seeing 45, 45.5. So that's been the biggest move, and we are likely going to see an even bigger move prior to kick, Donnie, because the public is never betting an under in a Super Bowl. It's always going to be the over, and that money has yet to hit the board.
How about those second half numbers here, Joe? You always take a look at, who's going to win the first quarter or the first half, but the adjustments will be made. A longer halftime here. Who's going to come out, Joe, with a better second half, do you feel? Seattle, -2.5 for the second half, and also a total listed at 22.5. Second half team, Joe. Which one could it be?
Yeah, well, you got to ask yourself, Donnie, right? Like, which coaching staff do you think is better at making in-game adjustments? And they both have been very good this year in doing that. And we also know that New England all year long was a first-half team, Donnie. Nobody made you more money backing them in the first half than the New England Patriots, who I think only trailed at the half, Donnie, in one, maybe 2 games, I think. That's it. I mean, they have been fantastic first-half teams and then did enough in the second half to be able to hold on and eventually win the game. Both teams very good against the number this year. So I think, Donnie, it all depends who has got to actually take more chances in the second half, right? Who is down in the game and who's going to can't be conservative. It's going to go a long way in deciding who wins the second half in the game.
Economic impacts, Joe. We always hear about it. Hey, give rich people free stuff and all the economic impact you get in your city and state. Look how much money you'll make. It never really turns out to be right, but the NFL does one thing correct for themselves. Whenever they go to a Super Bowl city, they let you bid on it. That's why it just doesn't make a rotation out here. Your city has to tell you, how much free stuff are you going to give the NFL to get this game here? And how about this? The stadium, hotel rooms, billboards, security, luxury suites, and 100% of the ticket sales and pay 0 taxes. That's what the NFL gets to have it in your stadium, in your city, in your stadium. By the way, Levi's Stadium, the ugliest looking stadium in NFL history. I don't know what architecture firm designed that stadium. It is horrendous to look at.
Remember last time we had a Super Bowl there? Remember, the field was really good, held up very, very well. So let's hope, Donnie, all that money they're saving, they make sure this field is up to par for a Super Bowl. That's all I'm hoping for.
Get it all back here. How about this? No NFL head coach has ever taken over a team with a losing record and won the Super Bowl in his first year. Vrabel can be the first guy to do that. It's a shame Gerard Mayo didn't get a chance to.
Yeah, no, because this is really not his team in any way, shape, or form. But you got to listen, coaching matters in the NFL. It's a coaching league. The NBA, not so much, but definitely the NFL. And when you get the right guy in the right situation, look at what can happen in 1 year, Donnie. Unreal.
Certainly can happen. We'll see if they can pull off the minor upset on Sunday afternoon. More news and notes getting you right up to kickoff for Super Bowl 60. Keep it here on the early line and the SportsGrid Network. We're ready for the action. We are.
February 7th, Xfinity Mobile Arena.
This is the most entertaining fighting in fighting, man.
Fight fans of Philly! Knucklemania 6 in Philly.
Can USA overtake Canada and get that gold, Joe?
Absolutely, they can here. And ultimately, it feels like that is the two-horse race. And I think ultimately, Canadians don't really care if their team competes in the luge or the bobsled, Donnie, or anything else. They just want that gold when it comes to ice hockey. And that is the only thing that's going to matter there.
The early line, only on SportsGrid. Heads or tails? Over or under? Seahawks, Patriots. Don't stress. SportsGrid breaks it all down.
They are locks. We can capitalize.
We're going to see a ton of over money.
Props, expert guests, and smart insight leading up to the big game.
Oh my God, if Sam Darnold wins the Super Bowl.
Only on SportsGrid.
But I will say at 4.5 and over, I've been with covers for 20 plus years now, been betting for a long time. When it comes to 4 and 4.5 point spreads, if I'm looking at the favorite, I do not lay the points. I go straight to the money line, knowing that it's minus 200. This has been a no man's land for football betting in the NFL, basically since 2015, since they moved the point after touchdown back.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Did you know, Joe Ranieri, that the New England Patriots could be the first team to win 7 Super Bowls as a franchise? They're currently tied with the Pittsburgh Steelers with 6. And as I look at this graph and I go, the Dallas Cowboys with 5. Does that actually count? Like, if you haven't won one like 30 years, like that should be on the list here. But it is amazing to see, like the Vikings, the Bills, the Bengals, the Falcons, the Cardinals, the Titans, the Browns, the Jaguars, the Chargers, the Texans, the Panthers, and the Lions have never won a Super Bowl championship. It's kind of crazy. Like the Super Bowl has been around, Joe. This is the 60th interpretation of it. There's 32 teams, and some have never won them. A majority, it feels like, have never won a Super Bowl. That's kind of wild.
Yeah, kind of crazy. I mean, and, you had that era too, Donnie, where, dynasties were prevalent, right? You had the 49ers.
Yeah.
You had one stretch there and a couple decades where it was just the 49ers and the Cowboys going back and forth, right? Mix in the Giants in a couple of years, and it was just, that was that, right? Because you were able to hoard your players here, and then, we kind of got the old salary cap thing and everything else going on, and now all of a sudden it was harder to keep players. And, there was a time, Donnie, where the idea that Matt Stafford would ever play for another team outside of Detroit, that didn't happen. But obviously now it is happening, and that is why maybe you're starting to see a few unexpected teams show up. But there are some organizations, Donnie, where, it might be another 50 years before they even sniff anything even close to a Super Bowl.
But I got to tell you, when you look at that list there, the team that doesn't get enough guff for being on there is San Francisco with their 5. Like, they're just as bad as the Dallas Cowboys, but don't get nearly the amount of vitriol that the Dallas, you've never won anything. Like, it's been eons since San Francisco's won a damn thing here. So it's kind of funny to see them with 5, with having come up empty, 30-plus years for them as well. If we look at this, Joe, the bets are going to start coming in the later the week comes and the big fish start to come to town. How about this? $725,000 on the New England Patriots money line at a plus 195 there. Bet would win $1.4 million and is a hedge from the same bettor who wagered $50K on the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl at 60-1 odds. He's hedging out, Joe, taking that paycheck.
Yeah, why not? I mean, get in and get out, Donnie, right? Hedging. That's what it is all about. And we have had, 7-figure bets here that have come in on the Seahawks and the Patriots. We know good old Mattress Mac alive and well, dropping $2 million, right, on the Seahawks. But, isn't it amazing, Donnie? You get these 7-figure bets and the line doesn't move.
Nope.
Why is that? Oh, yeah, maybe it's because if you're betting 7 figures on this game, chances are the books don't think you're all that sharp. They're more than happy to take that $1 million bet from you because they know, this is likely not going to happen.
Isn't it funny? There's a couple guys out there, Joe, to walk into a casino, put $1,500 down and be extremely respected. Like, we have to watch this line. And then you can walk in with $725,000, and then they go.
And not moving an inch.
And God bless our buddy Dave Sharapan used to always tell me at this point, like, bettors would come in there so square, $725 and get plus 195, and then they would flash the board at plus 205 right after. Like, you want another $725,000 at a better price than you just got it? We'll take it again for you at this point. It is hilarious how some things happen in Vegas and who's respected and who's not respected at this point here. Talking about being respected here, how about the two quarterbacks lining up? I expect a healthy Super Bowl from both of these quarterbacks, and we've been previewing these numbers all week long. Drake May was 20.5. He's now up, Joe. Here we go, to 21.5. And Darnold's still hanging around 228 at this point. The quarterbacks hopefully healthy for Super Bowl Sunday. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, and it looks like they are. The oblique injury, I think we actually heard from Sam Darnold, and he said, no, it's much better now that he's had some time. So that's going to be good. The shoulder issue, not going to be a shoulder issue there with Drake May. We know that. And listen, I think this was part of the reason why they built in an extra week, Donnie, because it never used to be like that back in the day. The Cowboys and the 49ers era there, where that's all who ended up winning. Don't forget, I mean, it was 1 week out, and boom, you're playing that big game. But now guys have a couple of weeks here, and, before that, have an opportunity to rest up a little bit, and I think they're better off for it.
No, you're right about this, too, because they like to have the build up to the pomp and circumstance for the Super Bowl media week and build it all up to that and then have a Super Bowl. And it does get big ratings at that point. But I do like the fact that you're building a de facto bye week. Like, I understand if you're a football team oh, man, I can't believe we get an extra week and that guy had a banged up ankle. Like, that's not the point. You're playing for a championship here. You want both of the teams as healthy as possible on the biggest stage to provide the best product you can and a legitimate chance to win a championship. And I'm glad the NFL does that. Running back props here. Seems like it starts with Kenneth Walker III at 73.5. That number's down from his opening number. But how about this, Joe? Ramondre Stevenson still sitting just under 50 at 49.5. But now, Travion Henderson, 17.5 yesterday, up to 18.5 today. So some minor movement. And also, Drake May, quarterback, Joe, earlier in the week, 36.5 was his prop. He's now 37.5.
Yeah, we've seen, those seem to be the popular ones, right, Donnie? We seem to have... we're fading Walker rushing props. They did last week also, don't forget, against that Rams defense. So it should not come as a necessarily a big surprise to anybody that is what happened. But I think the Drake May rushing prop also getting a ton of love. I don't understand the Travion. I didn't understand it at 17.5, Donnie, and 18.5 to me is still a ton of value. I mean, you're looking at a guy that throughout the season averaged, his number was about 46.5 rushing yards a game. That's what his prop was during the season. And he's the home run hitter. Is he not for New England? He's the guy that could get that in one run. So I don't understand where they came up with that number there. It feels like there's some value with Travion Henderson.
It does. There's something that we don't know where the Patriots are like, oh, this guy's got a devastating ankle injury. We're just going to hide it, and maybe you still have to game plan for him. Because you're right about this. It wasn't as if he was coming on late in the season, like, oh, he could be good. Like, he's had some solid games. When we say solid games, you should be getting at least 5 carries in this game. And if Henderson gets 4 to 5 carries, you'll take it at 17.5. Go, hey, if he went 4 carries and got 9 yards, so be it. But you're right, Joe. He's a big play threat, which means the chance of him getting a 10-plus yard carry absolutely will be there. We'll find out his usage rate come Super Bowl Sunday this weekend here. Receiving props, Jackson Smith and Jigba, way at the top of that list. 93.5 is his prop. Stephon Diggs at 44.5. Those are the 2 high water marks. And then a lot of value down the board depending on who you're going to get here, Joe.
Yeah, it would be a fade for me, too, for JSN, Donnie, because you know where the public is going, right? The public is going to, and that number will likely increase here. They are just, here's the problem, though. New England knows this, and New England has something the Rams didn't, guys, and that's a shutdown corner in Christian Gonzalez. So I can assure you they will want anybody and everybody to beat them outside of JSN in this game, especially deep. So take away that target and see what Sam Darnold and company have left in the tank. I think that's what Vrabel and company are going to be looking for.
Cooper Kupp's listed prop is 32.5. We got Cooper Kupp talking about his Super Bowl journey right now.
My journey to be here has had a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of times where, like I said, I've been lonely. I've been by myself. I've been in the weight room by myself. I felt like there's not really people alongside me, and all the doubts and all of hearing lies and things that are spoken over you and into your life. And, for me, the faith that I had, the belief that I had, because I had this belief that, the things that I was doing were for a greater purpose than myself. And there was a point behind it, the joy that I felt playing this game, just because it felt like I was just made to do it, and being able to glorify God through that. It's like, man, that is going to make it all worth it. And so it sustained me through all the highs and all the lows. Truly wouldn't be here today without it.
By the way, looking at that clip, and we're going to talk about this after the break, Joe, that was from media night. The difference in the stark contrast between the last 3 media nights and this media night, did they have them in like a shoebox where nobody was able to attend or ask any questions? We got questions, people. We want to get them answered next.
Saturday, February 7th, Conor McGregor will be in the building for Knuckle Mania 6. In the main event, heavyweights collide as champ Ben Rothwell defends against Andrei Arlovski. In the co-main event, we find out who's the #1 pound-for-pound bare-knuckle fighter in the world. It's Lorenzo the Juggernaut Hunt versus Dave Redneck Mundell. Plus, a heated rematch ignites as Tony Loco Soto runs it back with Ben the Bomber Bonner. And the women bring pure intensity as Jade Massam Wong faces Crystal the Rugged Beauty Pittman. For how to watch live, go to bkfc.com for more info.
How about selling it to a minority ownership group that could show the NFL is moving in the right direction? Hey, it's one thing to talk about black coaches in the National Football League. It's one thing to talk about black general managers. It's another thing to start talking about a minority owner owning the football team.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Gosh, I really do like the storylines with these open field events. Like I want us to expand these signature events to bigger fields, because I really do like the Joel Damon story, the Andrew Putnam story. It's part of the PGA Tour and what makes it so good. So I don't know where they're going to eventually end up on all of this.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
They cheated.
No, they're not saying that. Well, they're not, but they're not really giving a reason on Kraft.
The only two of the voters I've seen, maybe it's more, came out and said why they didn't vote for him. And they said, I'm limited to 3 votes.
Yeah.
And I will always pick a player over a coach or an owner.
Right.
By the way, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because that's the guy saying, I'm not afraid of you knowing who I picked. I'm going to tell you why I picked him.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
See a lot of complaints on social media about like, hey, what's the Super Bowl doing in San Francisco? Well, technically the game isn't in San Francisco. It's just that OK Bay area, which is an hour and a half away to Santa Clara. But I thought one of the interesting is like the NFL's opening night, which is what they used to call it, which is media night, which means both teams in the building, the media gets to look at it, but also they let fans in to watch. In the past couple of years in dome stadiums, they've done it right on premises. Now, last year we were on the floor in New Orleans at the Superdome. And let me tell you, Joe, we went from the convention center where they bust all the media in for media night there, but the fans were allowed in. The entire lower bowl of the Superdome was completely filled with Eagles and Chiefs fans here. Pomp, circumstance, bands, performances, loud music, like on the floor of the Superdome, which they roped off the field itself, but around it were all the booths and you can get to the players. Couldn't even move. You could, and if you wanted to ask a question to Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, or let's just say Jalen Hurts, you couldn't get near their booth at all. And we just watched a clip from Cooper Kupp, who was the Super Bowl MVP, and it looked like not a single person was at the venue. And you might ask why. Well, if you have the media at the Moscone Center in San Francisco, the Super Bowl in Santa Clara, and then for a random night you say, oh, yeah, by the way, guys, go from San Francisco all the way to San Jose for this night here. Nobody was there.
No. And a lot of the people aren't flying in on the Monday, Donnie, right? They're going to get there late Monday, early Tuesday, but there is nothing convenient about any of it, Donnie, to try, especially from a media perspective, unless you are employing and sending, 3 different groups of reporters at 3 different locations that just because that's almost what it takes to cover it correctly. But you got to pick and choose your battles, right? When you're there. So, all right, I really don't want to drive an hour and a half here to get up and watch the same old. So I'll just stay where I am. Nothing about this is convenient in any way, shape, or form.
Like, and even like it's supposed to be like a fan event as well, where the fans get to see the players, you get to enjoy, and you see the Super Bowl trophy. They introduce the players on each side. I don't even know if they did that, because the simple fact is, when we were in New Orleans last year, like the fans were in New Orleans downtown, and the Superdome was right downtown. Hey guys, we're in town early. Let's go over to this fan event. Let's go have some fun. Same thing if you were in Las Vegas. Like, it was right at the stadium, which is across from the Strip. Hey, we're in town to party. Let's go check this out. Fast forward to this year, it's like, well, we're going to fly into San Francisco, but then we got to rent a car for an hour away to San Jose to try to get in, and there's not really any pomp and circumstance. That's why the fans weren't there. And also, Joe, the Pro Bowl games is like, okay, they're in the city. Well, they're in San Francisco. Are they in San Jose? Are they going to be in Santa Clara at this point? That's why there was 3 people watching that event as well.
Yeah, and affordability, Donnie. I mean, you're going to one of the most expensive parts of the country where hotel rooms are going to be 10 times what they were for New Orleans. Vegas, you can have you being there, Donnie. You know this. I mean, you have a lot of different opportunities to stay at different levels and pricing, but in San Francisco, like, pick your poison. Where are you staying? So you staying in San Jose? Staying in that whole area is, to just hang out for 7 days leading up to the game. I would imagine you start to see more folks start coming in fan-wise today, tomorrow, and Saturday. But the idea that they are going to be flocking there like New Orleans and hanging out, partying on the street, I just don't think that was realistic this year.
Like if you are a fan, and let's just say you're going to the Super Bowl for the first time, like, hey, I'm going to go see my Patriots, fly in from Logan all the way out to the West Coast. Do you go to San Francisco and then drive an hour and a half? Or do you go in that party capital of the world, Santa Clara, and take in all the Applebee's? Like, what do you do as a fan?
Yeah, well, you don't. What you do is you stop in, you fly to Vegas, you get out, and you go to one of the books in there, and there you go. It's much. You're going to enjoy it better than anybody on the ground in San Francisco. I can assure you of that.
News and notes around the NFL, Joe. Yeah, and yes, you being a Jets fan, Frank Wright, he is here to solve all of your offensive issues with what quarterback? Brady Cook? Who even knows at this point? But Big Frank's coming to town. By the way, he's got a ring on that finger from the Philadelphia Eagles 2017 Super Bowl season, Joe. Come on now. Show some respect.
Yeah, my question, Donnie, is that I thought, looking at it, I was like, oh, so they got a quarterback. Because maybe Frank Wright can play quarterback for the Jets, because I'm willing to bet he would be better than anybody they currently have employed on this roster right now for the Jets. So kudos, Frank Wright. I mean, you did coach Stanford last year, which was a total train wreck of a school and a program there. So, apparently he's just going train wreck to train wreck here and seeing if he can be the conductor and try to keep the flames down. But good luck there, Frank. Let's see what you have for a quarterback to work with this year.
By the way, let's keep it with quarterbacks here. I got to get to this next story because this is everything that's wrong with college football. What was wrong, Joe, with you got 5 years to play 4, you get a red shirt, you want to transfer, you're going to sit out. Everybody knew the rules of the game. And now we find out Tennessee quarterback Joey Aguilar has been granted a temporary restraining order against the NCAA. A restraining order against an organization, not a person.
Yeah. Isn't that great, Donnie? We just talked about this, right, with Charles Bediako for college basketball, and why not, right? If you're a football player and you're seeing, well, this guy actually got to leave college, go play in the pros, and then come back to be to college, and all he's doing is hammering these lawsuits and these restraining orders, and he's still playing basketball at Alabama. Why not? Why can't I get another year of eligibility? Donnie, you've let the genie out of the bottle, Donnie, and there is no way you're putting that back in unless you just draw the line in the sand and end it for all. But that is not going to happen anytime soon.
It's all wild across the landscape. But again, like Trinidad Chambliss, like he lost his court case and nobody cares because they're going to take it to another court, another circuit judge, and just try to get one of these temporary stays. And before you know it, you're late November and Ole Miss has 3 losses. Then he drops his case and eventually goes to the NFL. That's the state that we're living in now. But also, here's what I do like to see. East Carolina. Have you been hearing these rumors out here in the streets, Joe? YouTube star Mr. Beast is hinting at spending $100 million on ECU to try to help them win a national championship. Bastardizing the sport. I love this, and I need this to happen, Joe.
Yeah, save your money, Mr. Beast, okay? There is nothing and no amount of money in the world that you are going to be able to spend to make ECU a national title contender. Stop it. Stop it. Just keep making your YouTube videos and we're good. Yeah, no.
Greensville, North Carolina, the capital of the world for college football, Joe. We can make it happen.
Nope.
Saturday, February 7th, Conor McGregor will be in the building for Knuckle Mania 6. In the main event, heavyweights collide as champ Ben Rothwell defends against Andrei Arlovski. In the co-main event, we find out who's the #1 pound-for-pound bare-knuckle fighter in the world. It's Lorenzo the Juggernaut Hunt versus Dave Redneck Mundell. Plus, a heated rematch ignites as Tony Loco Soto runs it back with Ben the Bomber Bonner. And the women bring pure intensity as Jade Massam Wong faces Crystal the Rugged Beauty Pittman. For how to watch live, go to bkfc.com for more info.
How about selling it to a minority ownership group that could show the NFL is moving in the right direction? Hey, it's one thing to talk about black coaches in the National Football League. It's one thing to talk about black general managers. It's another thing to start talking about a minority owner owning the football team.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Gosh, I really do like the storylines with these open field events. Like I want us to expand these signature events to bigger fields because I really do like the Joel Damon story, the Andrew Putnam story. It's part of the PGA Tour and what makes it so good. So I don't know where they're going to eventually end up on all of this.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
he cheated.
No, they're not saying
Right?
that. Well, they're not, but they're not really giving a reason on Kraft.
The only two of the voters I've seen, maybe it's more, came out and said why they didn't vote for him. And they said, I'm limited to 3 votes.
Yeah.
And I will always pick a player over a coach or an owner.
Right.
By the way, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because that's the guy saying, I'm not afraid of you knowing who I picked. I'm going to tell you why I picked him.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Olympics are underway, and sometimes you like to have one of those, let's have a practice round or just see how this is going to go, put on a fake event or two, let the people into the arena, let them out of the arena, run some food options at them, or how about you just keep the power on? 4 minutes into the first event at the Winter Olympics, power outage in Milan. Tough scene.
I can't, Donnie. I can't. I don't know why. I didn't understand Sochi. Last Olympics there. I don't understand this. I mean, none of the construction looks right. Everything is, how you have that much leeway time, Donnie, and you put them in spots that structurally might not be able to handle the load of people that are, I just don't get why we do this. I really don't.
On the fly, let's just see how it goes. And I'm still waiting for that hockey arena here that maybe just has like the dent in the ice midway and there's nothing it can do. They just put like the 3 like orange cones around like a spot. Like, just don't skate over here. We'll be able to finish this tournament and have a really good time here. How about Paul Bisonet? The final additions to my official Team Canada hockey bunker for the Olympics are done. Let the games begin. Canada takes this serious, which is why Team USA's got to win this. Like, their whole national GDP depends on them winning at hockey. Could crumble the entire continent up there.
Yeah, Paulie beat. He's still smart. You remember when Toronto was supposed to beat the Panthers last year? Remember how much fun that was, where you just kept betting against them and telling everyone how the Panthers couldn't run. Yeah, sorry, not going to happen. And by the way, Canada's not winning the gold medal here. I hate to break it to them there. Much like the Panthers weren't losing the Stanley Cup last year again. Sorry, Paul. You haven't exactly been spot on with any of these predictions here lately.
How about Tay McRae? She's been known to say, please believe me. She's trying to tell the people out here that she still bleeds Canada. But in promotions for Team USA, come on over to the dark side, Tate.
Yeah, listen, she's just a smart investor. That's what she is, telling you exactly who's going to win. I mean, don't hold it against, nothing to do whether she's Canadian or not. The reality is she knows who's going to win the gold medal, and it's not Team Canada. Good for her.
There you go. Team USA, the hockey capital of the world. Absolutely. It's a reason why nobody from Canada can ever win a Stanley Cup anymore, because all of those players are American-born. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can't, people. How about the New York Times article sent this out? Why would you throw yourself down a mountain at 80 to 90 miles per hour? There is no logic in that. Olympic skeleton. Seems fun. Seems incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, it does. But tell me, Donnie, if this was a ride there at Great Adventure, tell me, with Six Flags, we wouldn't be doing that and being like, I'll wait online. Yeah, let's do it. Let's give it a shot here, because that looks like a whole lot of fun.
The brakes, like, I'm waiting for. Does anybody ever get like thrown off the track itself? Like, you just take a corner two like the wrong way and you just fly out of there, or is it just normal gravity that keeps you on that belt there?
Yeah, I got to tell you, though, there are some fantastic AI videos that actually go through that scenario, Tony, where they actually let you on. The guy takes the turn and just doesn't. The turn just goes right off that track, and there are some funny ones out there for sure.
Like a novice, or you have like the dual bobsled or the full bobsled team where a couple of them don't get in, just one guy's flying down. It's like, I'm not even used to driving this thing. Good luck with that one here. But the Olympics, they're going to provide some of those follies that we love to see. Just hopefully nobody gets injured there. 2026 Winter Olympics, most gold medals. Still looking there at Norway, minus 195. Team USA, plus 350 right behind them, followed by Germany, Canada, Switzerland, and Italy.
Yeah, I mean, and actually that price looks like it's come down a little bit for Norway there, but and they should be. Just the sheer number of athletes they have in all of these events gives them the edge to win not only the most golds, but of course the most medals overall.
Yeah, what are they known for, though, Joe, by the way? You take a look at most medals there. Norway, minus 280, then Team USA to plus 500. Like, what are we known for in Norway? Is it the skeet shooting there? Is it the biathlon? Or are they just solid in every event where they can just rack up medals?
Anything to do with skating and skiing, Donnie, they are going to dominate there. They have and they have the world's best athletes in those events, no less. So outside of the one American Tulsa that we told you about for the speed skating events, they're going to rack up every medal. They're not, maybe not all golds, but they are going to accumulate medals with the amount of athletes they have competing here.
The women going to take the ice this morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, playing Czechia. See if they can get a warm-up shot here. I'm going over in that game, Joe. I think Team USA, the women, light them up, put 7 on the board, and cruise to an easy victory. 9:30 a.m., people. Make sure you're tuning in. We'll be right back here because live, hour number 2 is next.